Welcome back to another episode of Sincerely Spiritually Spoken with Nasia. We are here for episode 4 today. There's been a little break in between 3 and 4. And even though I think I've told other social media, I wanted to kind of catch you guys up because I realized I don't have to rush into talking to you guys. I can give you guys a little catch up. Something different today. I'm recording very early in the morning. Normally it's very late in the evenings after I've had a full day of being a mom and running around, doing hair, all type of things. Today is like early in the morning. My spirit is like loud, very fresh. So I'm actually excited for today. It may be a little different. And that might help because today is going to be a vulnerable episode. I think they all have been, but this one is going to be kind of letting you guys in where I'm at currently. So there's no way from running around or talking about it past tense type of vulnerability. It's like the raw right now. So that's going to be a different experience for me. I feel like I always have such wise things to say, like good downloads, and I can give the best advice to everyone. So I find myself lately struggling to accept my own humanness of raw emotion, and I'm trying to push past it and like find a way to make it sound beautiful, even though it's truly just like ugly and messy and hard. And that's where I'm at right now. So we'll get into it some more during the episode, but I am excited that right now I feel very open to being vulnerable. So we're going to just start off with the Speak from the Heart piece. I guess it's kind of on brand, honestly, with the episode. You know, I told you guys sometimes it may be different from what I am talking about. But in today's episode, my Speak from the Heart piece sentiment is checking on your strong friends. And I'm going to repeat that and say it seriously. Check on your strong friends. I'm the strong friend, okay? So I'm going to give you guys perspective today of the strong friend and when they get to a point where they're at a point. This is like, you know, the part where I got to get vulnerable. So lately, I shared it on my Instagram and I kind of had a transparency post. And I think I'm going to actually just pull it up and read it to you guys because it kind of makes sense to just read it on here, what I said about why I took a break in between some of my episodes and why, honestly, during this podcast season in general, there's been so much trauma hitting me as soon as I started this new goal while I'm trying to be authentic and trying to be vulnerable, where it's like intensifying, which makes me understand that I'm on brand for my purpose, but it also makes it scarier because like it's scary. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be vulnerable. I'm realizing day by day, God is like, you thought it was going to be pretty perfect. You were going to have this glory story and it was going to sound good and you were going to get to be a millionaire and have all the riches first before you got to share the struggles. But I'm realizing in my personal journey, God is like, no, I want to put you right on Front Street in front of everyone. And I want it to be raw. I want it to be messy. And I need them to see the journey because that's what we tend to forget is actually what life is about. So the transparency post that I made, it's shared last month, the same week that I released episode 1 to the public. I received some very life-altering news. My first instinct was to run away from the spotlight because people like me prefer to suffer in silence. I needed time to build my armor back up and present stoic to the world while carrying some of the heavy weight of new trauma that I haven't yet intellectualized or suppressed. What can I say? Old habits die hard. I found every excuse to justify my fears. However, I know that God doesn't make mistakes. He orchestrates everything perfectly and on time. I said that I was walking in authenticity, and now I'm faced with a struggle where that's a challenge because I gave my old armor to God and I promised to let him fight my battles while I walk in the spotlight as a vessel for him. I understand that all pain is for his purpose, so I'm trying to show up, fresh scars and all. And then I just appreciated everyone and thanked everyone for their support and their patience with me. So I shared that online, and that was even hard for myself but I had to step up, and it almost was like my back was against the wall because I had posted this episode and then I kind of ghosted for a couple weeks and I was needing to record. I was needing to post, but I physically like was just paralyzed by the trauma and that fight or flight of like, I gotta go. Like, I can't nobody see me like this. I'm weak right now. I gotta go. And I bring it back to talking about checking on your strong friends because I've always been a person that genuinely does kind of suffer in silence. And I really have observed from early on how much it feels like bleeding out on others. And that's my own personal perception. And like perception can be very deceptive because I look like a very strong person and I enjoy presenting as a very strong person. So I get caught up in that when it comes to conversations sometimes because I'm always kind of carrying my representative of who I want to be perceived as, of course, like we all do. And she's very stoic. She's very strong. She's very put together all the time. And it can be very draining to present that way, especially when you know, like, hello, I need a break. Hello, I need some help. Hello, I'm struggling. And it's almost crazy that as humans, we know that we're biologically made the same. We all have the same emotions, even if different intensity levels. We physically are made up of the same things, but we still try to act like they're not real human emotions. And I'm just done with that because all the things that we were taught are weaknesses are really strengths, and they're just hard. They're really the harder things to do. So most people that walk around with their chest out, like ready to attack the world, they're not fearful of anything. They're pretending. And I've realized that, and I can be the one to say it because I also am one of those that have pretended in my life that I got it figured out and that I'm strong and that I'm gonna make it through and I have a way. And recently, I've hit seasons where it hasn't felt okay, and it's been sitting in the raw pain, realizing how many tactics I use to escape it. I'll say, like, I've realized how many distractions I've allowed to take my focus off of myself, which goes back to that self-abandonment we talked about before. And I also realized that sitting with emotion is very hard, especially when you are a very smart, intellectual person. The more you grow a relationship with God, you'll learn why they say sentiments like, what's the song? Erykah Badu says it in On and On. She says, most intellects don't believe in God, but they fear it's just the same. And that kind of reminds me of just like sometimes you can think you can outsmart God or humanity or your feelings or your emotions, and that self-righteousness and like that fear of perception is really the root of it. You are so controlling of wanting people to see you a certain way that you're trapped within this fake image, and so you're like bound within your own boundaries of who you're pretending to be. So there's no real way to escape it besides just pushing through the fear. And I've seen it on multiple chords how people that have been very loud with their expression of like, hey, I need help, hey, this broke me, and like people that have shown their human fragility in ways that are expressive, I've watched people be judged for that. I have personal close family and friends that deal with mental health struggles and that deal with emotional dysregulation to a level where they aren't always stable, and they've dealt with mental health, suicide, bipolar, anxiety, depression, literally everything. And me personally, when I'm in counselor with people, when they're like having those raw moments, my empathy level shoots up. I don't even sit in those areas and judge a situation or look at someone, what you should have did better, or you put yourself in this, or find a way to victim blame. But I see how much that happens. And then that reflects back to people like me that already are strong, that don't want to show it. When I watch people that are strong enough to show, hey, I'm broken, hey, I need help, and I watch them get judged by others or condemned by others for that rawness, it puts me way back in my shell where I'm like, yeah, absolutely not. I'm going to handle this by myself. But I hit a brick wall where, to know me, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 3. Matter of fact, this past year, my son is almost 1. So I'm now a mother of 3. And I'm a business owner. And I have all these things that I carry every single day that are responsibilities that I cannot shake from. I am almost a decade into being an entrepreneur. So, I could go get a job today, but I've built my whole life on building my own. And with that, I was very young, so I didn't always do the most smart decisions. I wasn't always saving properly. I wasn't always thinking long term. I was irresponsibly spending money. Like, why wouldn't I? I was 19, 20 years old making 6 figures a year. Like, who wouldn't? And I was still stuck in trying to escape my childhood of the lack of the scarcity because I hadn't yet met myself with that duality of accepting who I am and who I want to be. So I was just caught up on running away from who I was and trying to create a life of who I wanted to be. And that came with suppressing traumas, running away from things, not doing the work, prematurely as I was building and growing, and just simply using my success as a vice. And people tend to do that. We use our successes, we use fitness. People know the traditional drugs, alcohol thing, but it's more malicious than that when you think about the subconscious ways that your brain wants to hide your trauma from you. And I was a person that was very dissociative naturally. And if you don't understand what that is, it's like, think about a child in a room full of chaos. Most of those children create like a safe place in their mind, or they create these imaginary places kind of to escape from the trauma. It's basically that in adult form, where you can be here, you can be going through things, you can be seeing the stress, you could be seeing, your bills, you could see a lot of things, but you dissociate. And it's like going back to that imaginary place where you are safe. But the danger of that as an adult is that it's an illusion and you're not really safe and you're not really okay, but you're pretending that you are. So you're not fixing the problem. And then every time you come out of that dissociative state, you're back to your trauma and you're back to your problem and you're swallowed by it, because 9 times out of 10, you haven't been honest with everyone else around you. So you've been creating other stories and you've been fabricating things to where you just get swallowed up, where you're like, I really am tired of all this, but who can I go to? Who can I call? Like, who can I turn to? Most people don't always have a therapist or, a trusted person that they can vent to. Most people have their family, their friends, their work communities, sometimes a spouse. But I've even found myself recently opening up to a man in ways that I've never done before. And it's crazy that I have children, I've been in relationships, I've been surrounded by people, and I'm like, dang, I'm just now being as vulnerable and transparent to tell you, hey, I'm having a mental low. Hey, it's not a good season. Hey, it doesn't feel okay. And as overwhelming as that emotion feels when I'm in the middle of the conversation and I want to escape it and I want to dissociate from it and I want to start trying to say things in the conversation, but it's gonna be okay. But I'm okay though. But I'm good. This is what's going on, but it's gonna be good. You don't have to worry about me. I finally stopped doing that and realizing that I have to be okay with just that rawness of being seen when I'm not okay. And it's felt scary, but it has been transformational for my growth, because I'm able to go back to things that I was still running away from with a little bit more confidence now that I can sit with those emotions. And when I say holding that space for myself has been the priority, because it's not even about me venting to people because I need them to validate that I'm not okay. I know that I'm not okay, right? So it's not that I need validation even in those conversations. It's almost just telling myself and taking myself off the pedestal and revealing myself to myself. So sometimes when I do elaborate on the pain and I do express it verbally, I'm like, hold on. And then I hear it out loud and it gives me more empathy for myself and sympathy for myself of how to navigate and just meeting myself where I am. Because I have plenty of friends that they could come sit and tell me anything. And I'm the first person, as soon as I hear a little bit of a struggle, hey, don't force yourself to move past this. Don't force yourself to be okay. But with myself, I'm constantly trying to make it okay. And so right now, the past few weeks, I've just been in a raw space of everyone around me. When I get the question of, how you doing? The casual conversation. If it's someone I'm not close to, I'm still not lying, saying, oh, great, good, everything's amazing. Oh my God, life's great. I might keep it casual and just say, things are going through some things, but going through the motions type of thing. But with my close friends and family, I've been holding that space within myself to just be honest. And that has required me to sit and tell them, hey, life is overwhelming right now. I know that I'm praised for being a mom. I know that everyone tells me how great of a mom I am. And none of my children were planned, but I've always appreciated them because of my relationship with God. I know that they are a gift. But this season has even challenged that thought process, because I did have another child unplanned and it has turned my world all upside down. And so now I'll say that I've been just taking things slower. You have to re-regulate your nervous system and you have to be conscious of your nervous system, especially when you're in very, very traumatized, very raw spaces, because your emotions and your logic are very just like blurred and you don't have the best sense of what's going on. So you can be easily triggered more, or you can be just upset more easily, or life can just feel very heavy and very hard. And when you're not a strong person or you don't have certain mental strength in you, it can feel impossible to get out. And those are usually the people that do express it more easy to you and that will say, hey, I'm not okay. Things are not good, because they understand, hey, I'm swallowed. But people like me, it's a little bit harder of a process. And I've noticed that I have to be very serious about my discernment of who I trust. But then that has also been backfiring on me, where I'm so hell bent on who can I trust, who can I trust, who can I trust, that I forget that if I feel safe within myself and I trust myself, it doesn't matter who else. It doesn't matter if they take this information and run with it. It doesn't matter, because it's my truth and it's the truth. I don't know if I started to ramble or not, guys. I feel like I had to just get out what I needed to say. I didn't take any notes. As you can see, I have my phone today, but I don't think I actually even followed what I was going to talk about. Honestly, I probably just ran on, which was a good thing. But one thing I will say today before I wrap up is that an important thing that I have learned during this season, where I feel like being an overachiever, I'm very connected to the things that I do and the works that I do, even in service, not even from an arrogant level, but just the things I can do for others, how well I am, the praise that I get, the appreciation that I get, that can drive me sometimes, being an overachiever. And I feel like the lessons that I've been learning the most is that I have to learn to just be. We constantly, as overachievers, feel like our accomplishments are what makes us, or we want to be seen for what we can do well. And that's kind of back to what I was saying about like not showing your weaknesses because you want to be shown for your strengths, not realizing that your vulnerability as a human is your superpower and it is your strength. And now me connecting that during this season, realizing, wow, God, like you sat me in a space where you put me through a lot of traumas where I'm not going to be able to do anything but just sit right here with it. Like I have to share this. Like I have to move through this. This is my actual calling. And I do think that it will be so monumental for my community, for the people around me to see someone. And I'm taking my pride, I'm taking my ego, and I'm doing away with it for right now, because mental health matters so much. And all of us are going through it, especially us young people. And I'm just at a place where I can no longer lie to myself about being okay. And I have to learn how to seek help. And that's been very hard because I don't know how to, but I've been working on that. I've been talking to my community around. I've been finding resources as a mom for certain things with the motherhood community. As an entrepreneur, I've been finding certain things to get just some discipleship and some guidance with certain things entrepreneurially. Personally, I've been working on going back to therapy. That's something I did at a point, but I'm trying to go back to it because I know that no matter how much wisdom and all this stuff I have up here right now, I don't have it to give to myself. And the helper needs help and the healer needs healing. And this is my season of taking care of me. And I hope that me expressing myself like this is encouraging y'all and making y'all feel like y'all can do this too, because it's not easy. Like, I know that when I see this episode recorded back, I'm going to cringe. I'm going to want to change some things and edit some things. But I told myself this morning, I was steadfast about it, that I was going to come here, I was going to put it out on the table, and I was going to share things that I've never said out of my mouth to family and friends, let alone to an audience. But I feel like the time is now, and I understand God doesn't want me to make it look pretty anymore. So I feel like the pressure has been taken off too. Like when you hit rock bottom emotionally or financially or physically or whatever, it's a freeing space because where else can you go? You hit the bottom. You're at the lowest point. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. I'm being serious. Like, where else can you go? And people like me, God had to break it all the way down, because now where can I go but to him? And sometimes he wants to keep you really close to him. So he will keep you right there and keep his foot on your neck. Like, God ain't always got to handle it very nicely, because it's our version of nice. His version is going to get done what needs to get done and do for you what your soul needs. And I am appreciating this darkness a little bit more and more. But the first step is finding the light. You have to call out. You know, when you need help, you got to call out. If I'm in the darkness, I got to look around, but I also can just say, hey, I don't know who else is around me if I'm in the dark. I can't see. So using that voice and pushing past that and expressing yourself, you don't know who you'll connect with and you don't know who can relate. 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, it's every single person around you because we're all a reflection. And I'm encouraging that. Please be vulnerable. Please work on it. It's not going to happen overnight. Start off with doing it within yourself, though. Not just journaling. Say it out loud. Look in the mirror. Record a video. You know, people always talk about people that record themselves when they're crying, but looking back at that sometimes and you see your growth and you see the rawness of yourself, it can help you through the healing process. So, I don't have as many practical tips about things because I'm still raw and right here. And again, I'm not trying to dress it up and make it sound like I have the answers. I don't have all the answers. Things are not going to turn around overnight. But I have just noticed how much better it feels to get it out and express it. Even if no one can fix it, just to know that I got it out is been doing works. So I think that I'll wrap up today's episode. Practice that vulnerability. Continue to share it with your friends and family. Continue to just get out there and be open with yourself. I guess I have to remember that we also have a question. So the email will still be posted on here again for you guys to drop your questions. I want it to be on brand about today's episode, of course, unless it's something that's really pressing you. I will make sure that that is listed somewhere. If it's not right here on the screen again, then it'll be in my description. And I would love to hear you guys' questions or even just feedback from today. But for sure, send the questions in because I would love to answer something in regards to what we talked about today. I am praying that you all have a wonderful week. I don't know for sure if I will be every week, every other week. I've been trying to navigate balancing everything as well as just giving myself grace with trying to navigate these things that I'm going through. So bear with me. We are going to finish out season 1, maybe every other week for right now. So yeah, I am so grateful for you guys. I know in advance that you guys are going to receive this well and make me feel appreciated for doing this. But I'm praying that you all have the best week. Continue to simmer on everything we talk about. Take it a day at a time. Be easy on yourself. And it's okay to not be okay. I will see you guys soon. Bye.